John chapter 4, verse 21 says, Jesus told her, "Believe me, woman, an hour is coming when you will worship the Father neither on this mountain nor in Jerusalem." This is Jesus talking to the woman at the well. She has changed the subject because she's living with a man and she's had a bunch of husbands, and suddenly he calls her out on it. She says, "Hey, I think you're a prophet." And then she brings up this controversial issue of where true worship should happen. Should true worship happen here in Samaria where the Jews don't come, or does it happen in Jerusalem where the Samaritans don't go, or where does true worship happen? She brings this up, and he actually says, "Hey, listen, it's not going to be in either of these places." Jesus is ushering in a time when people can worship God, not in a geographic location, but anywhere on earth, because the Holy Spirit will dwell in his people. He's changing some of these pieces where now, because sacrifice doesn't have to happen at the temple, and because we have a priest that intercedes for us constantly in Jesus Christ, and that we have Christ living and dwelling in us now, we can worship anywhere. It's not about the geography and getting it all exactly right at the temple. The temple is no longer necessary, which was why in 70 AD it was destroyed and has never been rebuilt again. God saw fit to use temples for a time, and now we become a temple of the living God. Temples are now obsolete, and Jesus is saying, look, this time is coming. It won't matter what mountain we're talking about. This debate is ridiculous because all of that is going away, and Jesus is making it possible for people to come into God's presence without the necessity of these temples. Something else worth noting, Jesus says, "Believe me, woman," and we see this also when Jesus is referring to his mother. Woman, this is not a negative thing like it might be in our context. We're like, "Hey, woman," it's not like that. This is actually a polite, sort of endearing term. So don't read our context back into what was going on there. The words that are used there were actually more respectful and more appropriate. And so Jesus is having this conversation with her, and he's just changing the script.